All right, get on the mic. Everybody does this. They check like right up close and then roll back off the mic. Just get up real close.
Got it.
They're very intimate.
I want to be able to taste the people who've spoken into this before.
Yes. The last person who spoke into that was my mom. So don't taste too much.
I don't.
Or if you taste anything, don't tell me.
Mishka Shabali is catching up with friends who are arguably more talented than him.
Hi-ho, Mishka Shabali here. Hey, how are you? Happy Friday or whatever day it is on whatever planet you're on. I'm about to sit down to do a podcast with Dean Del Rey, which I am super psyched about. He and I have a ton of points of convergence of music and comedy and old age and general dereliction. But what I'm most looking forward to talking to him about is the thing that we don't have in common, which is he's an enthusiast. He's like wildly, everything that he's into, he's like wildly into it. And I think that's fascinating because, man, I can't fucking muster up enthusiasm for anything. I want to try and pick his brain and figure out how he's done it. I screwed up all the scheduling stuff, so I have to give you guys correct dates for some of the stuff that I have coming up. July 30th. I will be in Athens, Ohio, playing with D-Rays and Driftmouth and Tyler Keith and a bunch of other old guy bands. Please come out and rub our sore old backs, pull some hair out of our ears. And then September 24th, I'm gonna do a show at my house. So I will play, my friend Rad will play, and I think we're in the process of booking some cool comics for that show as well. So if you're a local comic and you want to drop by and do 5 minutes, or if you are a touring headliner wanting to play the best house show in the world, hit me up. Then October 15th, we'll be doing another show at my house. Again, if you're a touring headliner or if you're a local comic, hit me up and come and do some time. And I screwed the dates up. It's October 22nd. That's the weekend that I will be in awesome Texas with Heels and a million other great acts for the Altercation Punk Comedy Festival. All right, I think that's all the date stuff that I screwed up. Please sign up for the Patreon. My mom and I are going to start doing monthly sort of bonus episodes there for the truly hardcore, where I think we're going to answer listener questions and sort of just chat. She is obviously a fountain of wisdom, and we're going to take her for all that she's worth. Today's episode, I'm talking to somebody you probably haven't heard of, that I feel like nobody has heard of, or very few people in my circle. His name is Rad Pinckard. I met him through my friend Sam Keeley, who I will never have on this podcast because he will just roast me the entire time. But I met Rad through Sam, and I think he was introduced to me as like a troubled kid. And then Rad worked for, so I met him at a show, and then I needed cheap labor, so I hit Rad up, and he did some really unpleasant yard work for me in the blazing hot summer sun. And then one day we drove the Unbookables van out to Mesa to pick up like a washer and dryer at my mom's house. Got a flat, or had a blowout doing like 70 miles an hour when it was, 112 degrees outside. And then we had to wait on the side of the road, just dying. That was terrifying and stupid. But Rad and I stayed friends. a year ago when he was facing jail time for his second DUI. You fucking dummy. We sort of got back in touch, and I wrote to the judge to try to make sure that they could find a way for Rad to do his time without him losing his job at the animal shelter. And through a combination of my threats and I think his own motivation and drive, he got sober. He stayed sober for a year. But here's the important part. A couple months ago, I guess, he sent me a tune I gave him my old computer, and I gave him a 12-string acoustic that my friend Joe Dompt gave to me. And then a couple months ago, he was like, hey, will you listen to one of my songs? And that's always, the answer to that's always no. There's nothing worse than friend rock, like where you have to listen to music by somebody you genuinely like, and then you listen to their music and it's like fucking jam band shit, or it's just bad, and you have to say, oh, the production is really good, or you guys are really tight, or something like that, where you willfully elide their lack of songwriting chops or anything of merit. But this song that Rad sent me was really promising, and sort of cute and sad and funny, and I was like, this doesn't suck at all. And then he sent me another song, which we're going to play on the episode, which is called His and Hers Sinks. And it was just good. There was nothing like, oh, if you did this or if you did that, it would be good. Or, it was really good, and it was really catchy. And it was, I don't know, it was like all the things that I like in music, all the shit that speaks to me. It was sad. It was funny. It was clever. It was self-deprecating. It was heartfelt. Like it really, the sadness of his tiny cobwebbed heart really shone through. And then I suggested to him that he record something with a beat because, like most, acoustic singer-songwriters, myself included, he was sort of sliding in and out all over the place time-wise. And then, so sort of as a lark, he recorded one of his tunes that he had written about his car, a Honda. And he recorded it sort of as a like trap house auto-tune hip-hop song. And it's fucking great. It just slaps. It's all the things. It's a check in every box. It's sad. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's an incredibly creative way of saying, like, in this life, I have nothing except for big dreams. So I wanted to sit down with Rad because I feel like I've played his songs for a couple of people, like sort of jaded old music heads that I'm friends with, and even some record label folks in New York, and every single person I've played it for has just had this response of like, holy shit, this is really good. And it feels crazy to say, but I feel like this kid is at the beginning of something, that he keeps sending me more songs and they keep not sucking. And I'm getting really excited that he's going to do something great. So, I don't know. I'm going to try and help him record some stuff. I'm going to try and connect him with a couple other, record label folks, and I don't know, just see if we can get something rolling. It kind of it feels a little like self-harmy, like like I'm buying alcohol for a 16-year-old or something. Like they're psyched about it and they think it's going to be fun and all that. And then the reality is like, I'm about to set you on a path that's going to ruin your life, because there's nothing that's been more destructive in my life than my pursuit of music. But, I don't know. Rad's really good. He's a really, really promising songwriter, and, give give this conversation a listen to some of his tunes, and let's see if we can't make something happen for him. Rad Pinckard, do you know why I've called you to the office today?
I'm in trouble.
Don't look at the computer. Don't look at the levels. Everything's fine. We're not recording. This is just a totally organic conversation.
Okay.
Between two guys who hardly even know each other. Here comes little Sadie.
I
wanted to do this. I wanted to have you on because the songs you're writing are real good, and
thank you.
And I want to play some of them on the podcast. And then Sadie, get down. What are you doing?
She wants to
get down. Hey,
let's speak.
There's nothing makes her want to cuddle more than when we're like recording or doing a thing where you can't be cuddling.
I know you're busy, but it's me time. Pay
Yes,
attention.
exactly.
I got it.
But when we talked about having you on the podcast, I realized I know almost nothing about you. We met, or I guess you knew who I was before I knew who you were.
Yeah.
How did you get to know my stuff?
Sam Keeley showed me your stuff.
Okay.
He just always showed me different musical stuff, and then he exposed me to you. And I liked it. I was a big drinker and also very sad, but I didn't put the two together, which I think your music is perfect for.
It takes a while to figure out that those things go sort of hand in hand.
Yeah, they help. They complement each other.
I'm going to adjust the mic so you look a little more comfortable. Hang on.
I'm always uncomfortable. Could we zip tie my arms behind the chair? That's how I'll feel the most organic.
How's that? Now you're like just sort of relaxing. You don't have to like lunge into it.
I'm panicking.
Good. So how long ago was that? 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah. When did we almost die on the 202?
That was...
I
think that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember meeting you. I remember meeting you for the first time at a gay bar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was the first time when I came out of the shitter and you came up and hugged me.
Yeah. That's how I meet most of my friends. They walk out of the bathroom in a gay bar and I just want to go up and hug them.
That was a good time.
And then you did, I think it was 2019 when you did yard work for me in like the blazing hot sun in fucking August when you were living out of that white van.
Yeah.
And then we almost rolled the green Unbookables van on the 202.
While I was pinched between a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
In a hard place.
Little did you know that would be the least dangerous, most fun thing that we would do together.
Yeah, just the beginning.
How old are you now? You're 24?
25.
25.
Yeah.
Are you from Arizona? Are you from here?
Yeah, I'm from Arizona. I've lived in the East Valley my whole life. My mom's from Poland and my dad is from Scottsdale. So I'm like half Arizona, half first gen Polish immigrant, but not really.
I didn't realize until lately that you actually had a father, because you called me your dad, which that makes me deeply uncomfortable.
I feel like you started that.
It's possible. Most of the things that make me uncomfortable are things I've created. But I didn't know that you guys had any relationship, or that. I just assume everybody hates their dad like I hate mine. Dad, are you listening? I fucking hate your guts, you motherfucker.
I'm Mishka's dad.
But he gave you the Gretsch guitar that you have.
Yeah, it was a birthday present, I think, when I was 20 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, because we both have always obsessed over Tim Armstrong and just Gretsch's like Stray Cats. Like, they look so badass. I don't know, with the little F holes.
Now I feel like your dad and I are going to become friends.
I can see it.
That would be really weird. How old's your dad?
55, maybe.
Okay. around the same age that Lanigan was. I was worried he was going to be younger than I am. That would be real gross.
That'd be embarrassing.
I love the. You can tell I love the hollow body F-hole guitars too. So when did you start playing guitar?
I was probably like 15, and the bunny, the musician Pat the Bunny. I don't know if you know him at all, but he's in a few different folk punk bands that didn't ever really make it big. But I just became obsessed with him as a teenager and learned all his songs just by power chords. Like, not even power chords. I would just like hold C major or whatever, that position, and just go
that's
up and down.
That's a bar chord. That's a bar chord.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was called or anything. I would just make it sound somewhat like the notes he was playing and strum as fast as I could, and I did that like every day until I was now. And then I eventually learned chords and stuff, and I still don't think I'm a very good guitarist, but I like to play guitar.
It's funny because everybody I talk to, every musician, nobody says I'm a really great musician. I'm a really good musician. Everybody says I'm a terrible musician. I do it the wrong way, and then they describe their learning process or whatever, or how they learn how to play, how they've continued to play, and that's how it's always happened.
Yeah,
is that guitar, and especially like whatever punk rock and roll, blues guitar, it's all just fucking making it up as you go, just figuring it out. Just like, oh fuck it, that sounds good enough, and hitting it hard and hitting it fast, and then that's an entire genre of music.
Yeah, definitely.
That's rancid right there. Yeah,
just learning on the job. That's how I do most things, and sometimes it works out. And I suspect you started skating a lot earlier than you started playing guitar. Yeah, I started skateboarding when I was 9, and I was like with the kids in my neighborhood starting to ride BMX, and my mom and dad were both like 80s skate kids, so they got me an 80s board that was huge and looked ridiculous.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was a Powell Peralta, Frankie Hill, I think it's like No Valor or something board, but it had a bulldog on it. That's why I picked it up. I like dogs. I
remember Mike Vallely always had elephants.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember like, dude, I used to have a fucking Vision Shredder shirt in like 1987.
Yeah.
And I was what they call a poser.
I understand.
I always thought skateboarding was so cool, and I've always just been fucking terrible at it. I had a dream the other night that I was like hanging out with a bunch of kids, by which I mean people who are older than you are, and I was like, I had to ollie for some reason. It was like a life or death situation of
ollie,
like,
we're gonna kick your ass.
Well, no, it wasn't even like that. It was like the dam's breaking, quick ollie, and you can save it. Like stupid, like just straight up Scooby Doo shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and I couldn't do it. I bet I could, but
not with that attitude. I believe in you.
The dude who lived in the back house here was like my age, and he decided he was going to start skateboarding again. And I was like, man, that's a real bad idea. And then he was like, came home one day and he was like, yeah, I got this like huge like bruise on my hip, and I was like, yeah,
skateboarding hurts.
Yeah, we missed and it hurts when you're 13, and 30 years later, it doesn't get softer or easier.
Yeah, you'd think you'd build some calluses, but no, it hurts more than ever now. It's my most like disguised form of self-harm. I'm going to the hurt myself park. Bye, Mom.
But you got into it pretty hardcore and pretty early.
Yeah, it's just an obsession of mine, and like I feel like a poser too a lot of the time because I don't have that many skate friends. Like I'm a weirdo just in general, but I love the verb of skateboarding. It makes me feel fucking amazing. It's just raw energy outlet, and I can go fast and challenge myself. I like it, but
I'm not in that world. But whenever I see that shit that you post on Instagram, I'm like, Rad's really good. what's the medical term? Sick airs, the wicked airs.
Say really good,
but it's just I was when I was in New York, I was hanging out with my friend Jake, and we were walking through a park and just talking about this. That like they had structures there that they had built expressly for kids to skateboard on,
sick.
and that was antithetical to my experience as a kid, where like it's like we were treated like as fucking outlaws or something, and it's so stupid. It's like because then I discovered drugs, and I was like, oh, this is way better than skateboarding. And
I don't have to practice this at all.
Yeah,
first try.
But for the first time, I do want to practice.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Now it seems like I feel like there's a bunch of skate parks around Phoenix.
Yeah, there's a ton of skate parks, and like it's funny because the corporate side of skateboarding, like Thrasher Magazine and all that, doesn't really want to see you skate at a park. They don't like most. There's tranny skaters, transition skaters, and street skaters, which I'm sort of just a weird bad mesh of everything, but with mostly transition skating. But like, yeah, people want to see you at a not built to skate handrail or something rather than a skate park. So we still want to keep the outlaw thing alive.
Yeah.
But we have these insane training facilities every 20 feet that we can practice at, especially like Arizona and California, which is sick because it's making it less inclusive. Like everybody can go skate now. It's cool.
It's. I always do this thing when my childhood or my youth. They're like, oh, if things had gone a different way, or if I'd been born at a different time or whatever, I'm taking this hat off, dude. I can't. I just.
You look so sexy.
I keep remembering that I'm wearing this hat, and it's so terrible.
You need to
and
live
I can't
the
express
daddy.
Can't express the thought. When did you figure out that you were good at skateboarding?
I feel like I was pretty good from the get, just because when you're 9 years old, you're not afraid of anything. So like, when my mom bought me that giant skateboard, she also bought me a half pipe that was too small for a BMX bike specifically, so that I would just skateboard on it. Which a half pipe is a fucking big structure that we had on the side of our yard in Gilbert, and it was like everybody in the neighborhood would come by and be like, "Can we skate your ramp?" It was sick. But I would like just go for shit, and like I cracked these bottom teeth the first time I ever tried to drop in, and then the second time I landed it, and like it didn't bother me that I got hurt, like because when you're young, shit doesn't hurt. And then I probably just turned into a glutton along the way, but I kind of just knew like I'm gonna get good at this if I'm not afraid to push myself, and that's what I did for a long time. And then I sort of took a break. Not a break, but to the point where I wasn't skating every day, like which I prefer to do. I like to skate every day. But when I started a punk band when I was like 18, probably, so I went like a good 3 years where I was like more focused on being a punk kid than a skater, which is not time well spent.
Yeah.
Not very cash money of me.
Yeah. I remember my dad and I built a quarter pipe out of like a sheet of plywood, and I was never able to like stick dropping in.
Yeah.
And I remember like going to sleep one night just like covered in like road rash and waking up like stuck to the sheets.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have I didn't have the confidence to. You just have to fucking just lean into it, and it's sort of like when holding still for a tattoo, like your body is telling you, no, this hurts, get the fuck out of there, and it's scary to drop in.
Yeah.
And so you have to overcome like your animal
survival
programming.
instinct. Yeah. I know, it's every fall on the internet that you see of like people dropping in and just slamming straight back. That's like every skater knows that feeling, because the survival instinct. You're like, oh, wait, I want to stay up here where it's safe, but really you need to like push your shoulder into the concrete that you're going down into, because that's the only way you're gonna keep your momentum going that way. But yeah, it's a lot of commitment, which I can.
I'm publicly committing here to never try dropping in again. That's one of the things I'm just gonna fucking let
Please?
go. One of the things that I fucked up from my childhood that I'm just gonna leave it alone.
I know a really good quarter pipe. It's really small.
I know a really good ER.
So we can get two things crossed off in one day.
It's one of the things I was like talking to Sam about. Getting a bike or something like that. I was like, no, at 45, my life has just been all stupid, expensive, destructive hobbies. I'm not gonna fucking pick up another one now.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid, destructive hobbies, when did you start drinking?
Oh, start drinking, or when was like my first drink?
If those are two different answers, I want both answers.
Okay. Well, I think I had been like stealing my mom's Jell-O shots out of the fridge when I was like 12, probably, but maybe older. Maybe like I was in middle school. Damn. Anyways, yeah.
Your mom sounds awesome already, by the way. For her to get you a skateboard and a half pipe and have Jell-O shots in the fridge, that's a check in every box.
Yeah,
right there.
She's great.
The awesome rock and roll mom.
I love my mom, but
yeah.
I started a career out of it when I probably high school. Like when my sophomore year, I moved from the Chandler district of schools to the Gilbert district, which is like going from the suburbs to the super suburbs. And I would bring like a little water bottle full of whatever clear liquors I could steal from my friends' parents or my parents and drink that in PE, which I had second hour, and 8 a.m. is a great time to start drinking when you're a 14-year-old. But it put me in a good mood for the rest of the day. And like I don't know. It just seemed like a fun, edgy thing to do, and also got my mind off how much I hated being at school and around people.
That's one of the things that comes up again and again when I talk to people who have struggled with alcoholism or addiction is that the first time that you find your substance of choice, and you take it, it's not like. Oh fuck yeah! I felt hammered, or I saw all the pretty lights or whatever. It's like I felt normal, and that was okay. Yeah. That was amazing. I felt okay
without my skin crawling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that it's like an ancient curse. May you find your medicine.
Yeah.
And it works until it doesn't, and then.
Yeah. Definitely. And then like having to relearn how to actually just have confidence that I should have learned at a young age is annoying now. It's like going up and talking to that pretty girl you're afraid to, but really I'm just like checking out at Circle K and I'm stressed out about it. It's gotten a lot better over the past year.
I'm still terrified of both of those things.
Right?
So I'm here to give you the inspirational advice that it doesn't get any easier.
Thank you. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm reminded again and again that I still have no idea how to start a conversation with a woman. To just be like, "Hi, I'm not a creep," and that's the creepiest thing you can say.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was talking to my mom about Arizona and like my struggles here and her struggles here and our struggles here, and she's like, "Well, you got to make more friends, and for me to go up to a guy and be like, "Do you want to be friends?"
Yeah, it's weird. I'm glad I didn't have to ask you. You were just weird and accepted me into this hive. But yeah,
I think I just needed cheap labor. I didn't know you were going to stick around.
You should have known. Don't take a strand. Don't give me a name. I'm staying.
Yeah, it's like you put food out for the cat once, and then it's like now you have a cat.
Now you're loaning me audio equipment.
Yeah. So when did the Jell-O shots and the stealing the clear alcohol and stuff, when did that start fucking kicking up problems? I know when I was like 13 or 14, the cops picked me up and I think I drank, climbed a tree with a bottle and drank until I fell out of the tree. Mm-hmm. But But I'm sure you have Rad's equivalent of those stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, because like I know I'm an alcoholic or whatever, but also I think just like alcoholism could just be a symptom of my untreated like depression and shit that I just always ignored. I don't know for sure though.
That's one of the toughest things about getting sober is when you know it's one thing to have that thing of like, you know, oh fuck, you know, I know I'm a drunk, but that's like kind of funny and kind of cool, and then you're like, but maybe I'm an alcoholic, and that's really gross, and it sounds like a disease, and then you quit. And you're like, okay, I overcame the big thing, and you realize that the big thing was just a symptom of whatever else, pain, grief,
like, wait,
mental
I have more
illness.
Problems still?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, like, I got my first DUI while I was driving home from the river that I'd been drinking with my girlfriend at the time all day, and we got in an argument, and I just got too angry or upset or whatever, and sped. And then my second one was driving home from a bar, also in an argument with a different ex, and not saying that like that was because of my exes, that was totally my fault, but I had drinking and driving other times before that too, which I'm not proud of, but I did it. And when I let my emotions get the best of me is when it really fucked me up. So yeah, I learned that maybe my emotions are too strong for me to like alcohol that much, because it makes me not care about them as much, or like not want to deal with them, and then I explode and bad things happen.
Hey, Blatty on the track.
I just went off the deep end in the shallowest way. You can tell I've been sinking, I can see it in your face. Be my shoulder to cry on, give me something to do. Watch the suitcases pile up, and pretty soon, baby, you'll be sinking too. Just hit my rock bottom for the last fucking time. I'll help you with your problems, but what about mine? I have been hurt before, and I know you have too. Put some ice on it, walk it off, and you will be okay, I promise you. Trust me, I know I love you more than you will ever fucking know. My door is always open. Welcome home. Yeah, I know.
I was talking to Keith from Every Time I Die about drinking and stuff, and I was like, I said I had no idea that you had a problem with alcohol, because every time I met you, you're sort of you're not just in control, but you're sort of like the den mother, like making sure that everybody's okay and that everybody's having a good time. And he was like, yeah, no, that's how I always was. That's how I always am. And then, to like drink and still have to be that much in control, is fucking exhausting, and his problem wasn't that he was losing control, but that he was never in a place where he could lose control.
Yeah.
I still really have problems with getting angry, and where the smallest thing will like really fucking piss me off, and I flip out less now because of my cat, because you can't punch a cat. If she knocks a fucking glass over or breaks a thing or whatever, or shits on the floor, or she like never coughs up hairballs and stuff, but if she does, this is the Dos Equis guy thing. I don't always cough up hairballs, but when I do, it's after I've climbed up 3 levels of amps and then cough one that fucking hits like $6,000 worth of fucking vintage gear on the way down.
She's got good aim.
But yeah, it's weird. Being a pet owner has taught me more about powerlessness than alcoholism and addiction ever did. Because you just have to deal with what they do, and you can't. Yeah. There's nothing. You just have to not, flip out.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you got your first DUI?
19. In 2018, I think.
Yeah.
Numbers.
And you got locked up?
Yeah, so I went to the drunk
Was that your
tank.
first time getting locked up?
Yeah. So I stayed there. Went to the drunk tank, and I was wearing a Speedo, which is I
guess that's our poll clip for the episode.
Yeah.
I went to the drunk tank, and I was wearing a Speedo.
I was wearing a Speedo in the drunk tank. I was wearing board shorts over the Speedo, but Speedos, if you've ever worn one for 16 hours, I
just ordered one the other day, actually.
I can't wait. It's a hot girl summer. Yeah, I got a rash because then they left. It was the reservation police, and they were cool because they let me choose to either have my car towed and pay for the tow, or to walk through the middle of the desert like 4 miles to get back to my car the next morning once they deemed me sober.
So which one did you do?
I chose leave my car in the middle of the desert, and
so what's wild is that that's a tactic that white police in Canada have used against First Nations people.
Oh, really?
And shitloads of them died.
On the walk back, or
a thing that they used to do is if you got picked up, or a First Nations person got picked up when they were drunk, Canadian police would drive them out to town limits and to let them walk back in. And that's like,
exile.
It's the outdoor drunk tank. Yeah. But when it's 40 below zero,
that's
people just fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was summertime, so if it had been daytime, that I might have been at risk for that. But it was nighttime when they let me out. It was like
it's a convenient time to get a DUI.
Yeah,
in Arizona anyway.
I try to have the most comfortable DUI as possible. But I walked back in a Speedo and eventually got back to my car and had to drive home the next morning and be like, sorry, I've been gone.
Rash Pinckard.
Fuck. Damn it.
It was right there. It was right there. I have more self-control now than I used to, but not that much.
No, yeah. That's something else I've learned too. I'm like, I'm still making bad decisions.
Just in regards to jokes or in...
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Other than our senses of humor, we are both perfect people.
I agree.
So the thing that I really wanted to sort of like get into with you here is not a Speedo, or your DUIs, but music. When did you start writing songs?
I started writing songs. When I got obsessed with that folk punk guy, Pat the Bunny. I kind of started like I would record like me covering a lot of songs, and then I would start writing my own little things. I have like a EP that I put out when I was like 16. It's awful, and I hope you never hear it. But it's called the 4-Chord Manifesto, because I only knew 4 chords and was obsessed with Karl Marx and shit at the time. But
I'm Googling that already in my mind.
I hope it's nowhere. I found a CD a couple years ago and I destroyed it.
Dude, I have shit like that where I'll just say this, that I'm so grateful that YouTube didn't exist when I was a kid, because I just would have been fucking eating Tide Pods left and right and like fucking saying the N-word because kids don't know what they're fucking doing. You know, I wouldn't have made it to like 12 without getting canceled.
Yeah.
You know,
same. Yeah.
But I also did I did record. Oh, God, some of the songs that I wrote. I think about songs that I wrote when I was like 13 and 14. I was writing like these power ballads, just so. I can't make eye contact with you right now because I remember them.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
No, fuck no, dude, never again.
I mean, that's what I'm expecting a year from now when I hear the songs that I'm writing now, though, because like I don't know, every time I look back at myself a year back, I'm like, fuck that guy. This new Rad is a little bit cooler. Like, eventually, I'll meet my final form and be perfect.
There's this great book by P.F. Kluge, who I think wrote Eddie and the Cruisers. He wrote a book called Biggest Elvis, and it's about these 3 Elvis impersonators in the Philippines, and it's 2 brothers, and then this teacher, who I guess is the me character, who sees the potential for these 2 brothers to be Elvis imitators, and the good brother is youngest Elvis, and the second brother is I don't know, bad Elvis, sexy Elvis, motorcycle Elvis. I can't remember but you know, it's like leather Elvis, basically. And then
bad boy.
The teacher is biggest Elvis at the end of his life.
Okay.
You know, the youngest brother can only do the sort of Sun Sessions, 50s Elvis.
Okay.
And then the second Elvis does the later, I guess, 68 comeback stuff. And then biggest Elvis can do anything because he contains all the Elvises that came before. And that's a point of contention where they argue about like who gets to perform what material from Elvis's catalog.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I found with my music is that, you know, to go back, to like when I was at my friend's house and I found a copy of Thanks for Letting Me Crash. And I was like, well, I got to burn this so I can get it up on Bandcamp, so maybe I can get another $6 out of somebody. And then also, that means I have to like listen to each track, and I like listen to like 10 seconds of each. And I was like, oh God. But also, there's a weird sort of like sine wave of your experience of your own output that at a certain point, you know, the 2 years after I put that out, I was like, oh, this is dog shit. I hate it. And then a couple years later, I was like, oh, I like it. And then, you know, a couple years after that, I was like, oh, I hate it.
Okay.
You know,
because when I first start making something, I'm like, this is pretty sick. And then after time, I'm like, well, we thought. We'll try again harder next time.
And, you know, and the best case scenario for a pop musician is that you write like Hotel California and then you have to perform that for the rest of your life.
It's just a bad Yelp review and a long guitar solo.
The songs that you've been playing for me and the songs that I've gotten all excited about, like when did you start writing those?
His and Her Sinks, I wrote the piano and guitar to, because I was doing that hammer on the and then had that playing on a loop while I played with my piano and started doing the piano over it. And I was like, that sounds really nice. And then I had that like on my voice memos on my phone or something for a couple years. Well, now a year and a half while I was ending a brutal relationship and
starting another one.
Yeah, jumping right into the next. It'll be different. But then I kind of, like over time, I wrote the first verse in it. and then had that for like a year. And then I was like, oh yeah, I have half a song. I should finish that. And then it was around the time of your birthday when I was like over here.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because also the time that I was like getting canceled. But I was it just bummed out, and the words came. They just happened. I didn't really have to put thought into it, which is my favorite types of songs, but not the most time efficient because it took me 2 years to write.
To wait for it to...
Yeah, for the experiences to hit and like me to have the stuff to put into the song, like the ingredients, I guess, like with it meaning something to me. And that song does mean something to me. But like, what was the question? When did I start?
Yeah, the batch of songs that you've been playing for me and the stuff that we've been talking about, like when did those start coming together?
Yeah, everything else like Motor Oil and all the new stuff, kind like Honda DeVille. I started singing that to myself while I was at work, like getting out of my car, and then kept like saying, "My Honda looks like a Cadillac," like trying to jokingly rap to myself. And then when I got home, I played a guitar chord that kind of sounded like it went well with it and recorded the first thing I sent to you, and I was like, this could be a song. So that like sometimes it's super easy and it just happens like right away. And
let's go deeper into that song. Let's pick that song apart. Sort of like slow it down and what made you say my Honda looks like a Cadillac? Do you remember where that...
Yes. So I got my Honda Civic 2002 LX, 76,000 miles. I know. It's fucking badass. It's champagne gold. Yes. And I got it like right when I got out of jail and had been... Well, no, not right when I got out of jail because I took the bus home from jail and was taking the bus a lot at the time. Actually, I got a ride from jail, but I was taking the bus a lot, and the bus is fucking depressing in Arizona when it's 1,000 degrees out and you're on a metal bench.
Yeah.
And like a month ago, you were shacked up in a nice apartment or a nice house, with somebody, and like just went from a very high to a very low. But then my grandparents' Polish friend drank himself to death. Andre, so my car is named Andre 3000, like
nice
outcast / dead Polish man. Thank you, Andre. And I was like, that's cool. I'm gonna try to not do that. I'm gonna try to
let that be your the opposite of a guardian angel.
Andre's torch and just put it in the pool. Yeah. But when I got it, my grandpa actually said like take care of this car, but like don't worry about like the interior too bad. Like you can smoke in it. It's not a Cadillac or something. And I actually have never smoked in that car. That was like something I pride myself on because I destroyed every other car I've had. The insides. But yeah, so that's why I got the Cadillac. Also, I just love Cadillacs. I think Cadillac DeVille is the coolest looking car, like lowered ones. They're fucking sick looking. And I'd like my next car to be one if I fucking get rich immediately like I'm planning on. Yeah.
I was in Memphis once, and I got a tour of the Stax Museum. And was it Stax? I don't know. Somebody from Memphis will yell at me about this. And I think Isaac Hayes' Cadillac is in there, and it's on like a spinning display.
Sick.
And it's just like it's just a beautiful like time capsule.
Yeah.
I think Chuck Berry had a new Cadillac that he bought every year.
Yeah, that's it.
He just had like a garage, a 40-car garage. I hope to never own a Cadillac. I think the only Cadillac I've ever driven was my sister and her husband at the time had it was like the Cadillac version of a RAV4. And I was like, man.
Like Escalade?
No, it was smaller. There was nothing cool about it.
Okay.
It was just it was like the
it had the logo.
It was the Cadillac's version of a Honda.
Okay. Sick.
You know.
We can we can work with that. But yeah, I know if I ever own a Cadillac, I'm probably gonna regret it within months. I'm just excited for that month of feeling fucking badass and not broke. When I'm in my car, at least,
I have these like super cool cars, and then the blue truck that I have out there. Like I just never drive it because it's a fucking nightmare to drive. It's the.
So you got AC?
No.
Okay.
It barely has truck.
It has truck. That's good.
That's about it. On a good day, it has truck.
Nice.
It's a 69. So it's really nice when an old guy is like, "Young man, what year is that?" I'm like, 69. That never gets old.
Nice.
I love, yeah, I love that shit. But I always just end up driving like the fucking not even the truck. I end up driving my Honda.
Honda.
Yeah. So you started writing a batch. So you got sober, whatever, 14 months ago?
Ish, yeah, May 30th, 21.
Dude, my date is, I think, May 26th.
Oh, crazy.
Which is so funny. May 26th, whatever, 13 years ago.
It's like I started a bender for my birthday because my birthday is in the middle of May on May 16th. And started a bender pretty much when May started. I was like, this is going to be my birth month. I'm going to be wasted the whole time.
Shit ever.
Yeah. Well,
it's my birth month, and I'm going to inconvenience everyone within.
Yeah, I'm going to make it everybody else's problem.
Yes.
Which led to me like going to Vegas, and that's a good place to have a bender. It's a productive. It gets the important parts of a bender done really quick. And then I came back, and my work's right by the airport, and wasn't in the best mental state at work, and was like, I'm going to lose my fucking job if I keep showing up like this. And I actually have a job that I love now, working with dogs. So, also just like, I'm going to kill myself. So I was like, I'm going to see if not drinking all the time will help this. And it has.
So how much time did you end up having to do after the second DUI?
12 days.
Were you in Tent City?
No, they got rid of Tent City, which is cool.
A friend of mine was there twice for DUIs.
Oh, really?
And she said that it was like right next to an incinerator where they would incinerate like all the roadkill and dead animals and stuff like that. And they fired up the incinerator per fucking Joe Arpaio's orders. They fired up the incinerator at chow time, so you
could smell the death,
the death, the like melting hair.
How
like,
accessible is this incinerator? That sounds like a get out of jail free card.
Get into incinerator free card. I think it was like removed from the Tent City facility, but close enough that you would still smell the shit. And they just did everything they could to make it as fucking torturous for those people as possible.
Yeah.
But you were in like the slammer, the clink.
Yeah, I was in. I don't remember even what it's called. I kind of tried to suppress a lot of that, I think. But it was at Lower Buckeye Jail. Or no, it was Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. That's where it was. And yeah, they make it as miserable as possible for you by like the worst thing for people who are from Arizona is to be cold all the time. So it's freezing. And you get one thin blanket that you have to use as a pillow. I had to use as a pillow because I didn't have a pillow and my fucking neck was dying because I have the body of a 90-year-old because of skateboarding.
And you were wearing a Speedo again.
No, I dressed appropriately this time. They made me wear orange, jumpsuit. I looked good. Fall colors look good on me.
Fall from grace colors. Tell the story again about the peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
well,
we all get peanut butter sandwiches for every meal, and they're whole grain bread, which looks like dead sandpaper, and peanut butter that's like not peanut butter. I don't know what it is, but it's got all the nutrients you need.
Peanut butter.
I like it. Peanut nutter. But
so terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst tasting thing ever, but it's definitely not enough food for you to be full, just enough to like give you the nutrients you need to stay awake and
Yeah.
stay alive. But it made everybody's shits good and plenty. Like everybody smelled, all the turds smelled exactly the same. And there's a giant bathroom that's fucking like 100 dudes are sharing right next to my pod where I'm sleeping. But the dude who's underneath me just had the most like baritone asshole ever. And fucking, I woke up multiple times a night, which falling asleep is not an easy task for me when I'm not in jail. So when I was asleep in jail, waking up to like orca sounds or fucking really just it was impossibly loud. And that's like the only time I almost got in a fight there is because I just woke up and shouted at this dude. I'm like, fucking clench, like do something because you're ruining my life, like worse than it can already get right now. I don't want to smell your insides. Or like if I am asleep, I can smell them, but I don't want to be aware of it. Like, fuck.
I want it to be part of my dream.
Yeah. And then out of jail, I still would, like, when I got out, like 3 days, my shits would still smell like that peanut butter. And it was just like, I hate it.
It's funny, baritone asshole is the phrase I used to describe my musical genre.
I like it. That's, make a shirt. I'm going to make you a shirt.
The, That will be when we start the hip hop duo. That will be my baritone asshole.
What was mine?
Be like the frogman.
Rash.
I think, yeah, Rash Pinckard. I think I think you need to do a podcast that's just like romantic advice podcast that's just called Elationship Radvice. I'm getting all these puns out just on the tail of talking about prison feces because that's the quality of humor this is.
That's my aesthetic. Prison feces.
Your aesthetic.
Yes. God damn.
Rad, come on. So were you still drinking when you were writing these songs? Was it sort of you started them drinking and then finished them sober, or you were sober reflecting on when back in the day when you were still a dummy?
Yeah. His and Her Sinks I started while I was still drinking. So originally in the second verse when I say I just hit my rock bottom for the last fucking time, I was going to say I hit my rock bottom for the third time this week. Because I, when it rains or whatever. But I like the second one better. So, but everything else pretty much has been in my sobriety looking back, which is, it's a lot easier to process and turn feelings into words now, if I can recollect those feelings that I had.
Yeah. I always get shit from people that I'm not writing songs about running or whatever. I'm like, what am I going to write about fucking running?
Yeah,
it helps. That's a real short song. But I do think there's a thing where like it's alcohol's a great preservative in some ways, in that it prevents you from having to deal with or think about or process the things that happen to you while you're drinking, or the things that happen to you in your real life that then you then you drink about instead of having to sort of sort through. And then obviously when you take the bottle away from the baby, then
we get grumpy.
Yes, you have to
Cranky.
You have to feel all those feelings, and the the best way that I know to sort through shit, aside from crying and running, is writing songs about it.
Definitely.
I don't know. I mean, the reason I just wanted to have you on is because the songs are so fucking good, man, and it's really weird for me to I lived in New York for a long time, and I booked a club there for a while, and like I knew people who had record labels, and I just saw my friend Eric Speck when I was in New York, and he used to run a small label, and we were talking earlier today about the sort of nostalgia for the aughts. Being in New York at that time, like Strokes got their big break opening up for my old band. We used to go and see Yeah Yeah Yeahs for $5 on a Tuesday night.
Sick.
The Walkmen, the Liars, just so many. I booked a show on a Tuesday night, and it was. God, I'm totally. Sufjan Stevens opening for Franz Ferdinand, and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
So like all these acts that then went on to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
I forgot about this. I was talking to a friend when I was in New York. I went to see his band, the Giraffes, play at Knitting Factory, and they were playing with Toilet Boys, and they were sort of like, one of the Toilet Boys are one of the sort of legendary New York rock bands. And there was this woman who went on before them, and she just sang to backing tracks, and she had her backing tracks pressed onto vinyl.
Okay.
So she came out with a record player and like queued it up and then sang and sort of danced to it.
Yeah.
But the stage of the Knitting Factory was real soft, so as she was dancing, the record would skip.
Oh.
And she was getting like really frustrated. And we all kind of laughed at her because it was sort of like this pretentious thing of coming out with a fucking record of your own. That was Lady Gaga.
No way. That's hilarious.
So I was in New York when all that sort of shit was happening. And also being a talent buyer at a club and getting like fucking crates of CDs every day of bands who wanted to play there and they're looking for their big break or whatever, and most of them were dog shit, and but the stuff you're writing, it's not dog shit at all, man. I think it's really good, and I think it's so good that I haven't trusted myself about it, where when I was in New York, I went and played it for a bunch of friends who are sort of like jaded old music fucks like me. And my friend Aaron from the Giraffes hates everything, and especially hates everything on the first listen, and especially hates everything I play for him on a first listen. And I played him a couple of your songs, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, no, this is fucking great." And it's like he got it right away, and he comes from, his band, he plays in a metal band, and then he comes from a background of like fine art, and he's always leaned towards sort of artsier New York bands. But then, I played your tunes for Heels and for a bunch of other people, and everybody has just like, I don't know, had a weird, or like really weird, really strong, really positive response.
Oh yeah, I've gotten I keep hearing that and I don't believe it. I feel like you're all just playing a prank on me. But thank you. Nah, I don't know. I'm not like from fine arts or like properly trained or anything, which I think is probably why my music can connect with people more, because I mean it's more lyric heavy than like musicianship, I'd say. But thank you. I'm glad that you like it enough to show other people. And
I haven't done anything yet, and as most of my friends in New York know, I'm famous for like finding bands that are talented and telling them that they're too esoteric or whatever, so they're not going to make it. I had an opportunity to manage the National, and I was like, "Oh, this band's too smart to ever get big."
Yeah.
And then they got fucking huge.
We don't have that issue.
And then so I was like, I like the songwriter stuff that you're doing, but no, I don't think anybody's ready for the punk band.
Yeah.
And totally wrong. But I don't know. I have picked a couple of winners. Also, there was like, there was this band, The Vitamin, and anybody who was in New York at a certain time knew that band. And they were just incredible songwriters and incredible musicians, and just wrote these like incredibly catchy, incredibly smart, very like fun, human, engaging songs. And we were all sort of waiting for them to do something amazing.
Yeah.
And then they sort of like kept getting bigger, and then got to the sort of same thing, and then And then it sort of like surfed and petered out.
Yeah.
I'm often perplexed by my track because there were all these bands playing in New York in the early 2000s when I couldn't get a fucking gig and couldn't get a single person to come out.
Is that just about knowing people? Like,
well, no, there were bands that were like on Matador and stuff, and there was this sort of toast of the town for 3 months or 6 months or 18 months, and then a lot of those people are sort of making coffee.
Yeah.
And you know, I owe a lot of this to being, you know, to like Stanhope finding my music and sort of shouting it out and stuff. But I do have this super committed, like my people don't go out. They don't leave the house. They don't go to the fucking store. But they'll listen online, you know, and so I don't know. You know, I still make whatever $100 a month from song royalties and sales and stuff like that, and you can too.
That's the dream. Yeah, I mean, I feel like writer's block kind of happens sometimes, but then like I have such a ADHD fast like want immediate gratification all the time. So if I think of like a song lyric, one line, like I'll want to make that into a song immediately. But I mean, I'm fine if I make like a couple good songs people like use for a Pepsi commercial. I get rich and famous off one song, and then nobody ever likes anything I ever make again. I'm fine with that.
I'm glad that your brain goes immediately to cash out, fuck all y'all, and fuck me.
I was punk rock long enough. I'm ready to sell out. Please,
dude. Yeah, I remember all the 4-hour-long conversations I had with people when I was 19 about never selling out, and it's just like, no, we would just never sell. We never got to the out part.
I like
you know,
it.
the reason you're so attached to never selling out is because nobody wants your shit.
Yeah,
it's
a convenient principle to have.
Well, I don't think the goal is to sell your stuff to Pepsi yet.
No.
Though Pepsi, if you're listening, we love Pepsi. Boy, do we love Pepsi.
Oh, I'm drinking one right now.
But I don't know, man. Mostly I just want to sort of encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because I think it's really good. I think like I don't want to give you teaching. What I do is try to give people like meaningful criticism, or you know, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that, that kind of thing. And I don't really want to do that with your stuff. I sort of just want you to like, just keep writing, just keep writing, just keep writing.
Okay.
You know, because it's really good.
I will, but not because you told me to.
Okay, good. All right, let's do plugs. What do you have to plug?
That's it. I don't really have any.
You have your SoundCloud?
Oh, yeah. I'm on SoundCloud on Rad Pinckard that I might change to Rash Pinckard. We'll see. I guess my animal shelter Instagram page, Based Ventura. If you need to adopt a dog in the Phoenix metro area,
yes,
do it from us, AAWL.
And what's your Instagram profile?
Rude Boy Rad.
All right, so Rude Boy Rad on Instagram.
Yeah, which that might need to change because people are going to expect more ska music from me and less.
Yeah, I agree.
Less
we'll go with Rash.
Rash
Pinckard.
Boy Rad. Rude Boy Rash.
Well, that sounds like Trenchfoot.
That's when you get a rash.
I saw Rude Boy Rash opening up for Trenchfoot.
That's when you get a rash and a checker print pattern. Yeah.
Yes.
And you drop your cortisone and you have to pick it up. I'm sorry.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Rad, thanks for doing the podcast.
Thank
buddy.
you. This is fun. Honda look like a Cadillac. My Honda look like a Cadillac. Honda look like a Cadillac. My Honda look like a Cadillac. I'm not on the bus and I'm not mad at that. And I don't gotta walk and I'm proud of that. I don't gotta walk and I'm proud of that. 'Cause 1 year ago I was stuck in a cell, and the year before that I was drunker than hell. And next year I'll be in the brand new Chevelle, driving my little nephew to his show and tell. With no AC on 'cause we colder than hell. No AC on 'cause we colder than hell. And I meet up with my dogs at T1. They rolling up spliffs 'cause we're too broke for blunts. But it's nothing but love up under the sunset. Plus we can't forget how hard we worked just to be content. Just to be content. Baby, I love you, but I don't got time. I gotta keep both of my eyes on the prize. I'm looking for something I might never find. I can show you the world, but you living in mine. I can show you the world, but you living in mine. Ooh, my Honda look like a Cadillac. My Honda look like a Cadillac.
Folks, thank you so much for listening. I know there's a million podcasts out there. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you're digging the show, if you're enjoying it, if these conversations move you, make you laugh, annoy you, piss you off, please take a minute to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. It helps us grow the show, and it helps other people find it. If you'd like to hear bonus episodes, song demos, just sort of ranting off the cuff conversations, all sorts of different bonus material, writing advice, personal blog posts and stuff like that, go to patreon.com/Mishka Shabali. We will be having monthly episodes up there with my mom and I answering questions from readers, and there's all kinds of good stuff there. Thank you so much for supporting.